Hello everyone, you're welcome back to the Irish Mommy channel. Today we are filling these containers along the front of the house. They're a bit sorry looking at the minute, and I'm going to take you along and show you what they look like now and kind of do a before and after. So you might remember that we planted these up with violas for overwinter. The violas done really well over the winter and the spring, but they've been a bit neglected now in the last while, so the violas have either died off or got really kind of leggy and scraggly looking, which is about right for this time of year. Now also my cordyline here got nipped with frost, so I think it is dead as a doornail. If you can see in the very centre of it there, it's not throwing up any new growth there really, so it's a bit sad looking. I'm going to take that out, and I have this new centerpiece here, my boxwoods. I want something different anyway, so it's a good opportunity, since I think this cordyline isn't going to make it at this stage. So we have the ivy here still growing good and strong. I will be taking that out and just potting it up to use again next winter, which is what I do all the time. It's got quite big this year. It's put on quite a lot of growth, so probably what I'll do is divide it into two separate pots, and then I'll have two plants for next winter. Lovely weeds growing in here as well. We'll be getting rid of those, and I do have bulbs that come up here in the spring, so they have to be cut back as well. I hope to also take out the top layer of compost, probably about 6 or 8 inches of compost, because I'm putting the boxwoods in. They will need a good heavier soil rather than just compost. So I do have here a bag of soil and a bag of compost with John Innes. So I'll be kind of mixing both of those just to make a heavier compost for the boxwoods to prevent them from drying out. That's one of the most important things for boxwoods, is that they should never dry out. So that can be hard enough to manage in the summertime here, but I've had lots of experience, because you can see I have 2 more pots along here which I'm also going to be doing. These have got really woolly. They've put on an awful lot of growth, so I will be giving these a wee bit of a trim, and I hope to take out the top layer of compost around them as well. It's not as easy changing compost when you already have plants in the pots, but we'll do our best. It freshens them up as well, but it's also going to be food for these plants for a few weeks as well. So they will of course get a liquid feed throughout the summer as well, but the more feed we can give them in the form of compost, the better. This one is certainly very sad looking, so I had wee wallflowers in there, and the violas along the front, so the violas have died off. Now I want to say I haven't been watering this either, because I knew I was changing it out, and of course we've had a really dry and warm, probably 10 days now at this stage, or maybe even longer. So this is, I'm not even sure whether that's the viola's gone to seed or not. I think it could be. I have a wee gladiola comes up in the back of this container as well every year. It doesn't always flower, but maybe this year it has got enough food to flower this year. So 2 of these containers, one this side of the window, one this side of the window. You can see more clearly here the violas have completely died off, mostly due to lack of water, but they've bloomed out at this stage anyway since they were planted. I think it was September, October that I planted them, so I got a good long spell out of them, so I can't complain. This is my lettuce window box here. I'm going to clear that out, add a fresh layer of compost on the top and re-sow that as well. That's part of the plan. And then up here, it's just the other container mirroring the one I have on the other side. Same deal here, cordyline not looking very healthy. Now it's possible that there is new growth coming up in this one, but it's just got very shabby looking. I may pot these up in a different container and see how they come back. they've just, even the colour of the Cordyline, it has faded out a lot. So if I even just took off a load of these bottom leaves and potted it up and see how it comes on, I might be able to plant it out in the garden then at some stage. The ivy, the same here with the ivy, it's took off really well. I'm going to take that out, divide it between 2 pots and pot it up for use again next winter. That's the great thing about ivy, perennial plant, so it'll last year round, as long as I keep it watered. And honestly, even if I didn't water it over the summer, I think it'd still come back in the winter time again. So there's the other boxwood as well for this side. Really healthy looking boxwoods, I have to say. I'm very happy with them, and they're a lovely size. So they're much bigger, and that's what I wanted. Because these are bigger pots, I wanted a bigger boxwood cone, to just to kind of balance out with the size of the pot. And this is what we are planting it with. So we have a nice little selection of plants, so bear in mind the boxwoods will be the centerpiece. I have nice double petunias, which I really love. Now this is an unusual colour palette for me. I generally go all out with colour, with purples and pinks being my main colours for my containers. But this year I decided to do more of, I'm going to call it like a garden monochrome mix. Basically greens and whites, shades of green with white. So the double petunias should grow up quite big. I'm hoping to maybe get away with 2, 3 at the most in the bigger containers. This variegated, I think it's nepeta. It's not called nepeta, but I think it's a form of nepeta. So it's called Glechoma, green and white. So it's variegated foliage. It doesn't, I think maybe it's yellow flowers on it, but I'm not really growing it for the flowers, and I'm hoping it won't really flower that much, or at least that they won't be very significant on it. And then I have this Lysmacchia, which is also called Creeping Jenny. Goldilocks Creeping Jenny, I think. So this was a 4-pack for €7.49, but I think it was actually 2 for €10 then as well when I got to the till. I wonder, does it give the actual common name? I don't see the common name on it, but I think it's Goldilocks Creeping Jenny is the common name. Either way, it's a nice yellow hued creeper. And I think it'll contrast nicely with all the greens and whites and the green of the boxwood then as well. Like I said, an unusual colour palette, but I like to change it up every so often. So that's the plan. I'm going to go through, get on with all the planting. I have to get these cordylines out, of course. Probably will be a bit of work considering the size that they are. But we'll see how well rooted in they are. So I'll bring you along for planting one of them, and then I'll just time lapse the rest. Okay, we're done planting. Had to take a cooling off break, but I'm excited to see these growing now through the summer. So let's walk through and show you exactly what I've done. Okay, so I hope you can see these clearly enough. The sun is beating down at the minute, so these have all been watered in now at this stage. I of course put in the boxwood cone, and I put 2 of the nepeta, 3 of the petunias, and 1 of the Lysmacchia or creeping jenny. Now I also, if you can see here, I stuck in an Alyssum as well. It was feeling or looking a kind of just the water must have just bet that in there. It was looking like there was going to be quite a bit of space. Now probably that space would have filled in with the petunias over time, but my thinking behind it was also in the autumn time that this Alyssum, which is what I planted here, don't think I said the name, so I just put in 1 plug. I had a pack of plugs of Alyssum that I bought just in the garden centre, so just put 1 plug in. Now there is a little bit of pink in it, but I don't think it'll be too big yet that you'll actually, or so big that you'll see the Alyssum yet. So it's quite a tiny plant at the minute, but it will grow huge. And my thinking is that come the autumn and even into November, maybe even early December, just depending on how cold the weather is, this will have really filled in the whole pot when the petunias have long fizzled out. So that's my thinking, that I'll still have the nepeta, the Lysmacchia and the Alyssum in the pots way into November and maybe December, like I said, just depending on the weather. Bring you down to the next one now, and really it's just repeat then from then on. I trimmed up this boxwood cone. It's looking pretty dapper now with its new haircut, and then slightly less plants in this. There's still 2 nepeta, 1 either side at the back corner, 2 petunias and 1 Lysmacchia creeping jenny. And then the window box I cleared out, and well, you can't see, and definitely the glare of the sun you surely won't see, I don't think. Maybe you might see the wee seeds there. So I've just sprinkled a baby leaf mix. I can show you the picture actually because I left the packet here. So it's just a baby leaf salad mix, cut and come again. Now I'm not sure how this will fare because it's such hot weather. I could really need to be watering this about 3 times a day to get those seeds germinated. So we'll see how it goes to get it germinated. Again, this pot is just a repeat. Actually have a break from the sun. You might see it a little bit more clearly in this now. So again, the 2 nepeta either side on the back corners, 2 petunias then in front of that, and then the Lysmacchia in the middle. And I know they don't really look a whole pile at the moment, but when they fill out they should look a lot better, especially with those petunias blooming, and there's loads of blooms ready just to burst out. And they will require deadheading. The petunias will require a little bit of deadheading. I just see even here now, there's one needs deadheading, and another one. There's not really much you can do about that with the petunias. They do need deadheading. Of course you don't have to. I mean, if you are happy enough with the look of them, you can leave them alone. They do eventually kind of sink downwards in the plant so that they're not as visible. I didn't put any of the Alyssum in these smaller pots just because I felt with the cone, the boxwood cone is actually taking up quite a bit of space in those. So I didn't put in the Alyssum in those. Just like I said, I think it'd grow up too much around the boxwood and actually block the light from it, so I don't think it'd help it because it'd be too close to it. This one, however, well, this one I felt at the back it needed a bit more because I don't really have the boxwood in this one, of course. So I went round to the she shed where I have all my seeds sown, or well, they're plug plants now at this stage, and I remembered I had Gypsophila, which is also called baby's breath. So I put that at the back because I know that'll grow nice and tall. Now it's very like feathery or wispy, if you want to call it that, but it'll bring a bit of height to it. Now it's not very tall at the moment, but it will be in a couple of weeks time. It'll grow up and start bursting out in flower. I also put 2 Alyssum in here. It was actually, this pot made me think of the Alyssum in the first place because there was a good gap in this pot, so I wanted a kind of a filler plant in this pot. So that was the original pot that I put the Alyssum in, and then decided to put in the 2 outer ones as well. And I left the gladiola in at the back. I think it actually blooms purple, but we'll let it bloom its head off if it does. It may not even bloom, like I said. It just depends on how much energy it actually picked up last year. But I'm really liking the colours. I think the white is really standing out, and when the Gypsophila blooms up, I really think this will be a lovely pot. Now of course this is a different pot to all the rest, in that it's like a terracotta or a kind of clay pot, but I feel it kind of blends in this wee corner. It's a little bit hidden just in the corner there, so it blends in, whereas the others stand out against the red brick. And then again, this is the last one, the very same as on the other side. Now you may have noticed too, I have pushed the cones back towards the back of the pot. If I bring you this side, you will see, now it looks crooked and that, but it's not. So I have moved it more back towards the wall because they're up against the wall. I wanted to have more space towards the front for the annual plants, because these boxwoods will hopefully, if they stay healthy, they'll stay here for a few years, and it'll just be constantly changing what I'm planting around the base of it. So there we are, another job ticked off the list for the summer. You can see them there in the background. We're just coming up on a bank holiday weekend, so I hope you all have a enjoyable bank holiday weekend. I hope you get out into the garden. If you haven't your summer containers done already, maybe you get to it this weekend, especially if you're here in Ireland with the sun splitting the stones. There's no excuse now. I have a busy weekend coming up with family, a big family event this weekend that I'm really looking forward to. So I'm delighted to have my pots done and out of the way now. Of course there's still numerous jobs to do in the garden, but for this weekend it'll be a break from the garden, and then back at it hot and heavy next week. So if you've enjoyed this video, press the thumbs up button down below, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.